Hi, I'm Bill Patrick. The program you're about to see is part of a vintage series called Car and Track, which was originally produced during the first half of the 1970s. Before we begin the show, though, a brief program note. Using as many as 8 cameras to shoot a single event, Car and Track captured some of the great NASCAR competitions of the era, one race at a time. Over the course of some 80 episodes through 6 seasons, series producer and host Bud Lindeman lovingly documented a unique era in American motor racing. While the race action contained in the series remains timeless, the program itself has not dated quite so gracefully. Although the years have not been overly kind to Bud's decidedly low-key introductions and interviews, we believe them to be an integral part of this one-of-a-kind series. So please, stay with us now as Speed Vision presents a rare slice of 1970s Americana, Car and Track.
I'd like to welcome you into another Car and Track show, this time direct from Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're here to cover the longest stock car race in the country. They run it once a year, and it's called the World 600. All of NASCAR's finest are on hand. This is a 1.5-mile oval. They'll tour it 400 times for a total of 600 miles. It's going to be one you won't forget. So sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. They came in cars, planes, motorhomes, campers, and just about every other mode of transportation known to man. A record-breaking crowd of over 90,000 race fans jammed the stands to witness the 14th running of perhaps the most grueling competitive auto race in the country, the World 600. The cars are the fastest late model stocks in the business. The drivers are some of the bravest, most skillful speed merchants in the history of motorsports. And the track? Well, this 1.5-mile Charlotte Motor Speedway, with its wide, sweeping, 26-degree high-bank turns, is one of the most demanding on the NASCAR circuit. And that, my friend, is what it's all about. A few of the reasons why this race is the highlight of our Memorial Day weekend. With the signal given to crank 'em up, the pace car leads the 40-car field down pit row and onto the track. Hometown driver Buddy Baker earned the pole position with the fastest qualifying time of 158.051 miles per hour in the Dodge Charger number 71. Alongside, from Spartanburg, South Carolina, in the Purolator Mercury number 21, it's David Pearson. Starting in the 3rd position in car 43, the driver who just this afternoon was notified of his appointment to Racing's Hall of Fame in Indianapolis, Indiana, Richard Petty. Starting next to Richard in the 4th position from Timmonsville, South Carolina, in the Car Care Chevy 11, Cale Yarborough. These are the drivers that lead this sensational starting field down out of the 4th turn, and suddenly the sound of power rips the air as all cars explode under the green flag. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the 14th annual World 600 is underway. Baker takes advantage of that pole spot and fires into the lead. Petty is second, Cale Yarborough third. At the end of the first lap, Baker leads them onto the tri-oval, and they're wound up now. Petty is right on his back with Cale moving up. Entering turn 1, Yarborough drops underneath Richard, kicks the Chevy hard to take over second place, and closes on Buddy Baker. Some of the experts thought they paced themselves slower during the early part of the race, but no way. Cale Yarborough wants that lead, and he's working Baker over down every foot of the track. Petty is a very close 3rd. David Pearson 4th in the Mercury, with number 28, Charlie Glotzbach, running 5th. On lap 4, coming into the 3rd turn, Yarborough waves bye-bye, Buddy, as he passes on the high side to take the lead. But this is a tight pack, and the lead changes often. Watch him. Now Petty slides around Baker to take the 2nd spot. In a half a lap, Buddy goes from 1st to 3rd. Whoops! Pearson decides to run with the leaders, and he, too, passes Baker. Down down the long back chute. They really wind him up. Here comes Richard. He fires past Cale, and the Petty Blue is number one. Now watch this Pearson-Yarborough battle for second. These are the duels that keep the people on their feet. After about 2 laps of swapping paint, Cale Yarborough ends the battle by taking over second. David is third, Buddy Baker fourth. Petty's Charger looks stronger now than when he won Daytona earlier this year. The Hemi is stretching the pack down the chute, and the car is working very well through the turns. Cale Yarborough likes it up front, and down the back chute he roars past Richard to regain his lead. The speed at the end of 10 laps is 155.619 miles per hour. The fans down south believe it's lead changing that makes racing, and so does Richard Petty as he passes Yarborough in turn 1. Richard has all the parts working now, and Cale can't stick with him down the chutes. David Pearson is pacing his Mercury well back in the third spot. Buddy Baker running a very cool fourth. On the back chute, look out. That was Peter Gregg in the Dodge number 6 who lost it out of the second turn, spun all the way down the backstretch until he slammed into the concrete retaining wall. The car came to a halt in the middle of the track, and with absolutely flawless reflexes, every car got around him safely. The yellow was lit on the 37th lap, and most of the field headed in for servicing. Here's your chance to watch the finest pit crews in racing. With all cars serviced and back on the track, the Dodge number 6 is towed into the garage. Peter Gregg is all right. He's a strong driver on the sports car circuit. This was his first short ride in a late model stock. After the many pit stops, Dick Brooks in car 90 is the leader and brings the field down out of the fourth turn onto the front chute for the green flag and the first restart of the day. Petty is second and closing the gap on Brooks. Down the backstretch, Brooks Ford is no match for the Petty Dodge, and Richard screams past him as they enter turn 3. The Randleman Rocket is first again. NASCAR's winningest driver, number 43, Richard Petty, as he stretches the pack through turn 3. But Mr. Cool, David Pearson, in the Mercury, number 21, has moved into second. On the last pit stop, Richard told his crew that the Charger was handling and running perfectly. They've been having some trouble in the Petty stable for the past few weeks, but it looks like they have it ironed out now because he's leaving them. On the 70th lap, number 14, Cuckoo Marlin, comes smoking into the pits and right on into the garage with a blown engine. That move decreases the track traffic by 1. Meanwhile, Buddy Baker has passed Pearson to capture the second place spot. He won this race last year, and there's nothing old Buddy would like more than a repeat. As the rubber wears and the gas tanks become thirsty, pit crewmen ready themselves for the onslaught. Enough praise cannot be given these men, for it's here, in the pits, that races are won or lost. And so that you might better appreciate their accomplishments, we filmed this sequence in slow motion. On the 160th lap, and by virtue of some spectacular pit work, Buddy Baker has regained the lead in the K&K Dodge 71. Richard Petty is second, David Pearson third, but starting to pick up his pace. Petty's crew ready a blackboard sign, showing him the top 4 cars. However, this could change any moment because David Pearson is on the move. There he goes. Davy Pearson slams his foot into the carburetor and unleashes that big Mercury down the back chute to pass Petty as they enter turn 3. Now it's Baker, Pearson, Petty, and Yarborough, or Dodge, Mercury, Dodge, and Chevy. That's the leader, Buddy Baker, who just lost it and spun hard going into the 4th turn. Right about now, he probably feels that the ball game is all over. But the yellow flag is out, and Buddy screams into the pits. Harry Hyde and the crew swarm all over the car. Baker slashed a right side tire. The blowout caused him to take the spinner. On the restart, it's Pearson with the lead, Baker second, Petty third. But as they round out of the 4th turn, the whole pack is moving up. When they see the flag, they're going to flat get on with it. Here they come, and watch Petty on the high side. That Dodge looks like it was shot out of a cannon. On the way out of turn 1, Richard Petty is once again the leader of the World 600. Into the 3rd pocket, Buddy Baker drops into the low groove, whips past Pearson, and takes over second. Buddy must be thinking that new tires do make a difference. fourth caution light of the day flashes on the 258th lap when number 45, Vic Parsons, loses his Ford in the fourth turn and crashed hard into the infield retaining wall. Vic was stunned, but all right. He was taken to the hospital for a checkup and released shortly thereafter. Not so with the car. It was totaled out. Now showers began to fall, and the red flag came out to stop the cars. It only lasted for a short time, and Buddy Baker didn't mind. He wanted to get out and stretch for a while anyway. "38 minutes after the first drop fell, the showers ended. Tarps were removed, engines fired up, and the cars took about 3 laps to dry up the track. Now, Petty leads all cars out of the fourth turn for the green flag. The rest period is over, and the race is on. Down the back chute, Baker is second, Pearson third, and Cale Yarborough fourth. There goes another engine, this time out of the Dodge, number 25, driven by Roy Main. Uh-oh, watch this. With Baker pressing hard, Petty went high through the fourth turn, too high, and put the right side of the car into the guardrail. This could cause some handling problems. There goes another one. That was Larry Smith in the Carling's Black Label Mercury. He lost it in the turn, spun, slams the outer wall twice, then limps down onto the infield grass. With the yellow on all the way around, cleanup crews head onto the track, and drivers dive for the pits. Richard Petty is in first. Maurice and the boys go to work on the battered right side. Larry Smith brings his Mercury in with ruffled tail feathers. Petty's crew worked feverishly to pry the sheet metal away from the wheel. However, not quick enough. On the track, the pace car leads the field around for another restart. That's the green, and they're flying again. Number 31, Jim Vandiver, and 11, Cale Yarborough, lead them through turn 2. But 71 and 21, Baker and Pearson are exploding their way through the traffic. Watch these boys move. Meanwhile, Petty is still in the pits. His love affair with the wall caused some suspension problems. Now Baker is 1, Pearson is 2. We've seen duels by the dozen today, but these boys are hot. Let's watch them. The 6th yellow flag of the day flies when a piece of debris is spotted on the backstretch. That yellow brings the Baker-Pearson battle into the pits. Both cars need rubber and fuel to go the distance, and this is their chance. Sensational. In 13.2 seconds, they changed left side rubber, gas the Mercury, give David a drink, and push him out. It took Harry Hyde and the crew longer, but they put new rubber on all four wheels. David Pearson brings them down for the restart, but that whole pack is trying to climb right into his trunk. '71, Buddy Baker is second, but he's caught up back in the pack, and Pearson is running wild. Through turn 2, Pearson still holds the lead, but Baker and Yarborough are closing on him every lap. As they fire onto the back chute, Baker has caught Pearson. Now, can Buddy do it? Down the double dogleg front stretch, they're door-to-door and scraping the numbers. As they scream into turn 1, Buddy Baker comes out with the lead. That four-tire swap on Baker's last pit stop may be the story of the race. The Wood brothers gave David left side rubber only, thinking the car would handle better that way. But Pearson can't seem to pass him. Cale Yarborough in the Chevy 11 is running third, one lap down. In the Ford number 15, Bobby Isaac has moved into fourth, and he started the race in the 15th position. Richard Petty is back on the track and running, but way down. He was in the pits for almost 28 laps while they adjusted the suspension, and he's still handling poorly. There's the white flag. One more lap, and Buddy Baker will take home his second consecutive World 600 trophy. Out of turn 2, and that Hemi is still wound up and pulling away from the pack. Onto the front chute. After 400 laps, Buddy Baker slides his Dodge Charger under the checkered flag, winner of the world's longest stock car race. David Pearson goes home with the second place money, Cale Yarborough third, Bobby Isaac fourth, Benny Parsons finishes fifth. Buddy wheels the big red 71 into victory lane after 4 hours, 26 minutes, and 53 seconds. 24 lead changes had the crowd on their feet most of the afternoon. There were 6 caution flags, one of which came out when Baker blew his tire and spun in the 4th turn. At that moment, he had little hope of ending up here amidst the roses and throngs of cheering people. Buddy was completely exhausted, but very happy. You see, back-to-back wins at the World 600 do that to a guy.